Thanks for listening to Magic or Tragic. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment below. Everyone's excited. Summer League is here tomorrow, and we'll get to see, of course, Jonathan Isaac and Wesley Iwundu for the first time up close. And we'll also get to see some other players the Magic were greatly interested in, like Dennis Smith Jr. and Malik Monk, because Dallas and Charlotte, as well as New York, Frank Ntilikina, and also Miami, Ben Adebayo, will be in town for us to get a look at. We, as Magic fans, probably don't get too excited about the Summer League because we've watched players do very well, and then when the season starts, it didn't seem like it translated at all. Nonetheless, there are some players that I am curious to see. That would be Steven Zimmerman, Patricio Guarino, and Marcus Georges-Hunt. Only because we kept them from the end of last year going into this year. To me, they were a little bit unknown, but I tried to watch a little bit of both, and I guess I could see why teams would like him. Guarino spent some time with the Spurs, I believe, and I think Marcus Georges-Hunt had a 10-day contract with the Heat. I could be wrong on that. Nonetheless, when I watch these two players, Guarino, I would say he's like a stronger and more athletic Fournier, to be honest, when I watch his game. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, even though I do like Fournier, and I'm going to talk a little about Fournier later. But that's what I see in Guarino when I watch him play. He doesn't jump off the tape at you, but he seems to do a lot of things well. He seems to shoot it well. He seems to have a little bit more explosion when going to the rim than Fournier. And he looks like he has a bigger body too. So that's what I think of him. Marcus Georges-Hunt, honestly, he looks like a poor man's Caron Butler. So that may sound funny, but he's got a real aggressive game to me when I watch Georges-Hunt. And he does have three-point capability. He's got nice size, nice all-around handles. But again, his offensive game is pretty aggressive to me. He doesn't like to settle on a jump shot, but he can hit that jump shot. And he can mix it up a little bit defensively. And his body is ready. So they're interesting to watch. Also, Steven Zimmerman, he was pretty thin last year, so it's interesting to see how much weight he's put on. And again, he's a tall guy, pretty nimble, I guess, for his size, and just showed you very little offensive skill. So kind of curious to see what his game is going to be like as well. Couple things to talk about. I've been hearing pretty much from the people who know more about the Magic organization than me that the free agent signing period is not going to be something for Magic fans to get excited about, mainly because we don't have a lot of cap money. So if we were to actually see any movement, it would have to be through trades. Now, I just wanted to talk about, to me, probably the three players most likely to be moved if we made any trades at all. And number one, of course, everyone knows that would be Vucevic. I think one reason he will probably be moved is because he actually provides some trade value, for one. But two, I don't think he currently fits with John Hammond and Weltman's plan as far as position flex. If you hear them talk a lot, they like to use the words position flex. And Vucevic doesn't have that. And that brings me to my next person, Peyton. I don't think Peyton has too much position flex. Now, I do think they may be intrigued by Peyton because of his length. And, you know, he's pretty aggressive when he wants to be. And his stats must be intriguing to an outsider. So I'm sure they want to see for themselves. Maybe they think they can fix his shot. And if they can fix his shot, Elfrid Payton's a totally different player. But you can't put him at shooting guard, so no position flex for Payton. And the third player is Fournier. Now, Fournier, he can play 2 or 3 offensively, but defensively, he will have issues a lot of time playing bigger threes. And he's average on 2s, in my opinion. He probably has more position flex than maybe Vucevic or Peyton. But again, he could provide probably more assets than maybe anybody else on our team. Because I think Fournier is actually a decent player. He's probably in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think we asked too much of Fournier for what he really is. And I think if he was on a really good team, he would have a real important role and play well. I mean, Fournier gets you 18 to 20 bucks most nights without even thinking about it. And that's a key player to have. You know, that's a key role player to have. But he's not your go-to take over the game every night, no matter what defenses you throw at him kind of guy. And sometimes it seems like that's what we asked him to be, especially after giving him all that money. And he's not that. So I do kind of like Fournier, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is involved in a trade because I think a lot of teams would actually like Fournier. I think some teams would like Peyton too. Coming off the bench, again, a contending team. I think if they thought they had Peyton coming off the bench and could, in spurts, give him that energy and fill his stat sheet like he seems to do sometimes, I think they may be intrigued by that. So those are the 3 players you'd have to look at if the Magic were going to make trades. Who we'd get for those players, I'm not sure. At this point, we're so young. If we need to package picks, future picks, I'm all about that. The last player I wanted to talk about, for the Magic at least, is Mario Hezonja. I've got to think our front office is intrigued by him because to me, Mario, when I watch him play, he might have the most natural basketball skills and instincts on the team. But for some reason, he just hasn't put it together. And I'm beginning to think maybe that could be a product of what the culture was when Hennigan was here. Like, none of the younger players developed. But our new management has a good record of developing young players. Hezonja is definitely a versatile player. He's got position flex. He can play the 2, 3, and the 4 in a stretch. In a pinch, he can play the 4, in my opinion. And he has shooting skills, ball handling skills. He's very athletic. He's got the length. So I'm pretty sure they want to take another look before they just write him off like so many Magic fans have done. And I think that would be a good idea. He's one of the top players I'm interested to watch this year. Now, if he happens to get buried on the bench again this year, then I'm going to believe it's maybe more about Mario Hezonja than the, training or the way the Magic bring players along. Last thing, I keep hearing people talking about JJ Redick. I do not think the Magic need JJ Redick. Like, really, what is he going to come here and do? Like, what would be your expectations? Do you think he's going to come here and just hit 4 threes a game and just light it up? Oh, he can stretch the defense? Like, no, not here. Like, when he played with the Clippers and people had to worry about Paul penetrating or throwing lobs to DeAndre Jordan or Blake Griffin hanging around the paint, like, there were a lot of reasons why you had to worry about the paint and the mid-range area of the Clippers, which gave Redick wide open looks. That's not going to be the same if he comes to the Magic. So if you're going to pay him a lot of money for him to just sit out there and hope he knocks down some threes, I mean, that's not going to work. Like, he's not going to change your team at all. Plus, he doesn't play defense. Now, if he's going to come here for a lot less money than expected, then I might look at him. But if he wants a lot of money and, you know, just because he's a former player can shoot, I know we need shooting, but we need bucket makers. I don't care if they shoot it from 30 feet or 4 feet. We just need dudes that can put the ball in the bucket. So I hope we can stop with this JJ Redick stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think. Disagree, agree, comment, like, subscribe, and go Magic.